West Denver. Sleep deprived and heavily caffeinated.
All right, let's do this then.
This is the Jeff and Bill Show.
I don't agree with that.
They don't always agree, but hey, at least they have coffee.
Coffee.
And each other.
I love you, man.
God help us.
I want to bless him. We need all the help we can get.
Now here's Jeff Hunt and Bill Thorpe. The Jeff and Bill Show on News Talk 710 KNUS.
Well, it's 7 a.m. in the Mile High City on this Thursday, June 26, 2025. Good morning, Denver, Colorado. You've tuned in to the Jeff and Bill Show. News Talk 710 KNUS, the primary content creator for Kyle Clark to grift.
What would he do on his show without us?
What would he do? We're laughing about this because on Monday we hosted George Teal for a conversation, which then made the rounds on Channel 9, and he never said the Jeff and Bill Show.
No. Not even the graphic, nothing. It just ticks me off. I mean, you can take our stuff. Just tell her where I got it from, please. we put your name on a T-shirt. I mean, come on. Little share the love here.
People are pointing out that perhaps we're grifting, Bill.
But here's the thing. Put his name on the T-shirt. We're just asking for name on the clip. That's all we're looking for. We put the name. We put the little 9. The little 9 is there on the corner. I mean, come on. What else are you supposed to do?
I'm this close to putting on my LinkedIn that I work for Channel 9 KUSA as top content producer for Kyle Clark to grift.
What you should do is you should put unpaid top content. Yeah, that's the important part. Unpaid top content producer. Yes, that's the important part.
We bring the people on. They make the news. Other news, clip it and run with it.
We have a habit of doing that. The number of things
Proud
that happen on the show.
Proud to be Denver's top news maker.
Yep.
The Jeff and Bill Show.
Yes.
All right, we've got a lot to talk about this hour. Feds are filing hate crime charges against the accused Boulder firebomber. We'll get into that. And then the family speaks out in their first statement saying they're being treated like animals in this ICE detention facility. Please listen and help us. Boulder attack suspect's wife, detained in Texas, says in her first public statement. So, got a lot to talk about this hour. Now is time for News and Comment. Blake Olson.
Blake Olson, News and Comment.
Good morning. It is Thursday. I thought it was Friday also. 58 and clear. Great thing about Thursday, it's a day before Friday. It's going to be a great day in Denver and up and down the Front Range. Expecting a high of 86. The 710 5-day forecast coming up. Our top story.
If you don't believe in the deep state after this, then you're not. Then you've lost your mind. This is the definition of the deep state.
Charles Herder on Fox News Channel after a Pentagon leak. The House and Senate will receive classified briefings today and tomorrow on the U.S. airstrikes in Iran. The Senate briefing is scheduled for today, while the House will be briefed on Friday. The briefing comes after fake news reported a classified intelligence assessment indicating that the strikes did not obliterate Iran's nuclear facilities like DJT claimed. But this is so ridiculous.
They just complain about everything. I mean, that's what I've learned.
Yep. Yeah, and it's I guess
if he didn't bomb, they'd be going, he's weak, he's not doing anything.
Yeah,
if he does bomb, it's, oh my gosh, we're getting into World War III.
No doubt.
And then you are terrible and harming innocent people. Then it's, well, the bombs didn't really do that much. They just bounce back and forth. It's just any effort to complain all the time.
Anti-Trump propaganda, and the leak is actually treason.
A wartime leak of very sensitive, confidential information. It is treason. The punishment for treason is the death penalty. This is not a joke. I think that it's, and I pray that they do not back down on this, that they get to the bottom of who it is, and they can find who leaked this information. It is treason.
In case you missed it, DJT in the press conference with his favorite CNN anchor, Caitlin Collins.
Oh, fake news CNN?
Here, I'll hold it.
Yeah. Here we go. Wait till you hear this question.
Thank you, sir.
You should really say how great our soldiers and our warriors are.
I think everyone appreciates our soldiers and our warriors. I do have two questions for you, Mr. President. You just cited Israeli intelligence on these attacks. Earlier, you said U.S. intelligence was inconclusive. Are you relying on Israeli intelligence for your assessment of the impact of the strikes?
No, this is also Iran made the statement, and it's also, if you read the document that was given that Pete can talk about if you'd like, the document said it could be very severe damage. But they didn't take that. They said it could be limited or it could be very severe. They really didn't know, other than to say it could be limited or it could be very, very severe. And you didn't choose to put that because it was very early after. Since then, we've collected additional intelligence. We've also spoken to people who have seen the site, and the site is obliterated. And we think everything nuclear is down there. They didn't take it out.
Trump will be back in office and will continue to be that bull in the China shop.
Thank you, Aaron. A Colorado law firm is planning to sue the State Bureau of Investigation over the conviction of a man who later died in prison. The Mayor Jolly law firm filed notice of its intent to sue over the Alan Phillips case Wednesday. Phillips was convicted of double murder in 2022, sentenced to life in prison, where he died in 2023. Phillips's daughter believes he was wrongfully convicted, in part due to the testimony of former CBI forensic scientist Yvonne Missy Woods. Remember her? Woods is currently facing dozens of criminal charges related to mishandling DNA evidence during her time with the CBI. The attorney representing Phillips's daughter says Woods will also be named as a defendant in the suit. A developer wants to place an observation tower in downtown Denver. Plans for the 673-foot tower were filed with the city on Tuesday. The tower would be about the size of a 30-story building and would be located in the 1500 block of California Street.
Can we just be serious as leaders of the community and just actually solve a problem? At this point, it's become a joke, right? Rather than dealing with the crime, the drug addiction. By the way, I don't know, Blake, if you saw the video where I just walked down Broadway and Colfax.
I keep on forgetting to tell you.
One block.
That was great video.
And there's a nude, woman just sitting there, nude. Okay.
Oh, it's disgusting. No, I don't think that was a woman.
You think that's a dude?
I think that's a dude. I think.
Wow.
But
it's
I
something.
mean, that thing was disgusting, and God bless you for shooting that. You know what bothers me? Not only it's just drug addicts just standing there loitering and just hanging out, living there. But that's our city, our state, and
Broadway and
kids
Colfax.
Yes, Broadway and Colfax. And here's what bothered me. You're walking right with that video, and they don't even move. They see a person like walking on the sidewalk. If you happen to have a lady with her kids and they happen to be walking down there for whatever reason, they wouldn't even move for her. I mean, they didn't even get out of your way. They're just standing there, getting high, wearing their
and they I didn't play the direct audio from it because they start going, he's recording. They all start to look at me and stuff like that. I put some audio over it. But
you are pretty weird looking.
But I'm sitting here walking by like the center of Denver. Like you don't get more center of Denver than Colfax and Broadway, Civic Center Park, open drug use, nude people in the park. And what are we talking about? Building a tower somewhere, a viewing tower, and Jared Polis is out there talking about a bridge. Can you just do the basics and get clear on cleaning up the homelessness, the drug use, and the crime? Can we just do that? I don't need a viewing tower?
Yeah, a viewing tower.
I don't need a viewing tower. I don't need a bridge.
Look better a lot. It looks a lot better up there, though.
Yeah, what is that? I get to see all the homelessness and drug use from this viewing tower, as opposed to.
But
just down on the street.
It is a private developer, though, right? So they're just asking for approval. But yeah, I mean,
yeah. Oh,
are they asking for taxpayer dollars?
I know on the bridge they are, and we're going to get to this later. They're now upwards of like $28 million. Hat tip, Kyle Clark and Channel 9. I'll give you credit for doing that research. I think it's up toward $28 million. And I was just sitting there going, the same place you want to build the bridge, you have nude, drug-addicted people. Jeez. Can you spend a portion of the $28 million to clean up that?
Right,
as opposed to building a bridge and now a viewing tower?
How about a bridge to nowhere for the drug addicts? How about that?
It's just like they can't get the basics right, so they're going to go do this.
Just clean the city, man. You're on I-25, our favorite spot, I-25 and 6th Avenue, where we always say we smell it, right?
Yeah.
And I look over to the right a couple days ago, and you see this building. I'm like, what? And it says Graffiti Kings something. Now I forgot what it is. But huge letters, man. I mean, sometimes, man, I have to give those graffiti artists credit. How they get up on these buildings and write these huge signs, but it says Graffiti Artist Kings or whatever. They get up there, a huge sign. I'm like, that is gross, man. You're looking at beautiful downtown Denver, the skyline, and then you have that huge painted by drug addicts or whatever. Just clean that up, man. How's about we just clean all that garbage up now?
No, we need to have an observation tower.
Yeah, we need an observation.
No, this thing is, as the voice of reason on this show, and I'm using that term tongue in cheek.
Yes, you are.
We need to really focus about the core issue here that we're discussing. I understand the issues with the drug addiction and the homelessness. The real issue in this conversation is what do we call the tower? It's got to have some sort of a cool name. That's the real issue, because you got the Space Needle.
Mike Johnston's Johnston?
It can't just be.
Am I allowed to say that?
Yeah,
yes,
well, you just did. Yes, I didn't believe it. So,
So,
yeah. I mean, what do we do? Is it something like Get Mile High?
Good.
I mean, what do we do here? Is it the Golden Spike? Is it the, what do you do? Is it, yeah.
How about the, what am I thinking? You said the Space Needle.
Yeah,
how about the heroin needle?
Brittany Pedersen's heroin needle?
No, it would be the safe injection needle.
Safe injection needle.
See? Yeah.
Shaped like a syringe.
Exactly.
Hey, let's get more compassionate in here. Let's get the drug dealers and the drug users off of Colfax and Broadway and give them a nice view while they shoot up.
Oh, there you go.
Hey,
why not? Go up there.
Yeah.
The issue is, what you could do. See, the thing is but you have to understand that this is also somewhat of a tourist attraction for the families. So,
I think we threw that out the window a long time ago.
No. That's what the observation tower is for. Because that's what it is. No, that's what this is. And so you have to realize that we could do that. But what we'd have to do, and I'm sure that Pedersen would be all aboard on this one, is that there are going to be different levels. Like, first level, it's your marijuana enthusiasts. Next level is the psilocybin. Above that, you got the safe injection site. And then finally up top, it's the space for the families. Yes. Because we're going to get this all together. Why not? What could be wrong with you getting into an elevator with your family when you're a tourist here and having someone seeking a safe place to shoot his junk at the same time? What could possibly go wrong? I'm sure that's going to be a wonderful experience. And bottom line, those kids are going to have an amazing story, whatever happens in that elevator, to tell when they get back home. Wherever they came from, they're going to say, how was Denver? And they'll say, yeah, we were going to the observation tower and some dude pooped in the elevator.
It's a great
Welcome to the Denver.
Yeah, exactly.
It's almost like an adventure experience, but just terrible.
Yeah,
you're on to something there.
And if we still build that silly bridge, you could do a zip line from the tower down to the bridge. I mean, I'm just spitballing here about ways to make this. Exactly. Yeah, and the idea is, once you do on the zip line, is you have a challenge, and you have this board at the end, and it's how many homeless people you saw as you're coming down, and the person that sees the most gets a T-shirt. Got to take advantage of our natural surroundings here. We can't do it the mountains anymore. We got to do the homeless people. So what can we do? What can we do?
Man,
Yeah, and
so
every
many
day,
great ideas.
yes, and every day, one of the homeless people you can see from the observation tower is given a special hat. Whatever it is, like Where's Waldo? And if you can find him, you get a free soda. Again, I'm just trying to use things here. Yeah, exactly. Why not?
That's great.
Yeah, and after a while, the homeless people are going to fight you for the hat.
See if you can find the homeless man with the pink hat.
Yes. You get a free soda. Come on. They're going to move around a little bit, Yeah, so it's a challenge. And it's fun for the kids.
And it's fun for the kids. All right, he's back. He's back. Here's Jamal Bowman pushing his race grift on CNN.
And the problem is we are not dealing with America's original sin and its disease of hate and racism towards black and brown people and sexism towards women and anti-LGBTQ sentiment. We are not dealing with that. Your colleagues in the Republican Party do not hold each other accountable when it comes to the racism that comes from the party on a consistent basis.
Congressman, I mean, where are you on
You can't be calm about this. I'm a black man in America. The reason why heart disease...
I'm white, I can't comment.
Listen to what I'm saying. The reason why heart disease...
God, I can't. He's the fire alarm guy, right? I think. He was trying, or whatever. He pulled the fire alarm. And he lost in his election, so he's back on TV. Closing arguments begin today in the sex trafficking trial of Sean Combs, also known as Diddy. The prosecution told the New York court on Wednesday that it's tossing some charges out against Combs. As predicted, Duke's Cooper Flagg selected the number one pick overall in the NBA 2025 NBA draft last night by the Dallas Mavericks. After a rain delay last night at Coors, the Rockies fall to the Dodgers 8-1. The final getaway day today at the ballpark at 110. 57 in Parker and 56 in North Glen, 58 in Denver. Jeff and Billy continue.
When you come for the American dream, you got to learn American ways. These new people come for the game.
I love Tony. Blake Olson, News Talk 710 KNUS.
Thunderstorms are going to take a little bit of a break here in Denver and along the Front Range as drier air comes over the divide and into the Front Range. Sunny, mid to upper 80s today. Sunny, 85 to 90 for Friday. Lower to mid 90s Saturday. Today through Saturday, likely dry. Upper 80s Sunday with thunderstorms returning. More thunderstorms likely next week. Weather, sponsored by Colorado's Best Roofing, reminding you to protect your home from the harsh Colorado weather and schedule your free no-obligation roof inspection today at roofingcolorado.com. That's roofingcolorado.com. Meteorologist Don Day in the 710 KNUS Weather Center.
Oh, Bill. Killing us on that last one, man.
I was telling Blake, I'm like, you guys are getting into a serious enough. I'm like, I'm going to break the tension. I got to find a way to break this tension. It was so much fun.
The Where's Waldo homeless guy with a hat.
And what I love is the first time you guys are like,
observation
this is awful. And the first thing that popped in my mind is, what do they call it? That was the first thing that popped into my head. So again, how this show, we're wired completely and totally differently. This is fantastic.
It works.
But again, yeah, find the guy with the special hat and you get a free soda. I like that.
All right.
A different guy every day, you know?
Oh,
so, yeah.
It's so funny. All right, let's talk Black Eyed Pea of Colorado. Locally owned and operated by Steve and Michelle. I love this restaurant. 8 locations. There's sure to be one near you. It's Colorado's cookout and barbecue time at the Black Eyed Pea. Their July menu is featuring backyard combos. Listen to this. The St. Louis rib combo or barbecue 2-meat combo. They have barbecue pulled pork, BBQ chicken breast, and BBQ smoked sausage. Woo! So good. Maybe you have a hankering for a sandwich. They've got grilled barbecue Polish sausage topped with grilled onions. Gosh, I'm getting hungry. Or you can do the tender, slow-cooked barbecue pulled pork sandwich topped with cold slaw, both served on a toasted brioche bun. They do catering, dinner parties, rehearsal dinner, wedding receptions, and company events as well. So make it a success with Black Eyed Pea Catering. And no matter what the occasion, Black Eyed Pea gift cards, always a great idea for your special someone, birthday favors, holiday presents. They have you covered. I went and ate lunch the other day, Bill, Black Eyed Pea.
Yeah,
$17.
Oh, geez, that's crazy. That's
$17 for sweet tea. Gosh. And a Southwest chicken wrap sandwich with fries. It was great, and the food was so good, so fresh. It's cheaper than fast food.
Yeah, it is. That's the thing, is it's cheaper than fast food, and it's made fresh for you there. You know when you're rolling through the fast food, especially if you're doing that drive-through. We've had some friends. You probably have a friend in the drive-through. You understand that it is the ones that have been sitting there longer that get dropped in the bag. The ones that probably have the least attention to detail get dropped in your bag when you're rolling away. Even there, and when's the last time you go into a McDonald's, you sit down, and you've sat down, okay, I should probably use the brand name, but you sit down in that fast food place, and at the end, you stand up and you're like, that felt great. No, never happens. But in Black Eyed Pea, it is a wonderful family atmosphere. You get to relax. The seats are way more comfortable. You get personal attention, someone coming over and checking on you, making sure your drink is always filled. You don't have to walk back over to that silly thing they're taking away. They're taking away the free refills at the fast food place anyway. So again, and you're going to get freshly prepared food that is made to order, that is better for you than anything you're going to get off that fast food menu. So again, you're going to spend the exact same amount of time, except you are going to not only feed your tummy, you're going to feed your soul, because you're going to be able to sit there and relax and get a breath, maybe check up on stuff on your phone, maybe, just crack out the laptop, do what you need to there, but you get the personal attention that you don't find at those fast food joints, and it's going to be fresh made to order, delivered to your table, hot, at same price. There's no reason to be rolling through that place with a big M and the little crowny thing.
I love everything about the Black Eyed Pea. I know you will too. So support local. Keep it in Colorado. Visit the Black Eyed Pea near you. Great location for lunch today.
Yes.
All right. This comes from our friends over at Colorado Public Radio. Feds file more hate crime charges against accused Boulder firebomber, the man accused of throwing bombs towards people demonstrating on behalf of Israeli hostages in Gaza. I don't really like that description, Bill.
Yeah.
Because he's not just throwing bombs towards people demonstrating on behalf of Israeli hostages. He's trying to kill Jews.
Yeah, well, the thing for me is that the idea is that they're looking for individuals that are being held hostage to be released. And the idea that you go then to throw bombs at those people, again, questionable target to begin with. Yeah, this entire story and how they're laying it out is weird.
It's
continue.
All right. It's charged on Wednesday with 12 federal hate crimes for purposefully targeting victims on the Pearl Street Mall because of their national origin. An indictment unsealed on Wednesday accuses Colorado Springs resident Mohammed Sabri Solomon of planning his June 1st attack by researching how to make Molotov cocktails and searching online for Zionist events to find the Boulder gathering. Solomon told police that he viewed, quote, anyone supporting the existence of Israel on our land, unquote, to be, quote, Zionists, unquote. For full clarification, Bill and I are both Zionists.
Yeah.
He said he decided to take his revenge from these people. When he arrived on the mall, he was armed with a crate of more than a dozen bottles filled with gasoline. He looked for the Zionist group and threw 2 gasoline-filled bombs towards people carrying Israeli flags and signs to draw attention to the hostages. When throwing one of the Molotov cocktails, Solomon shouted, "Free Palestine!" which, again, I've said over and over again, at this point has become a call to violence. It's what happened. It was the guy was shouting when he shot the 2 Israelis in Washington, D.C., too. A document recovered from his car later had scrawlings and sentences, including one that read, "Zionism is our enemies until Jerusalem is liberated and they are expelled from our land," and further described Israel as a cancer entity. In court appearances last week, Solomon's defense attorneys previewed how they may approach this case. They'll argue that Solomon was targeting people in Boulder based on their political beliefs, not national origin, and that political beliefs aren't considered a protected group under federal hate crime laws. David Kraut, Solomon's federal public defender, said the man had no way of knowing anything about the people he attacked, except that he viewed them as supporters of Zionism and Israel. There were about 30 people or so on the pedestrian mall that day in a group called Run for Their Lives. In addition to the Israeli and American flags, they carried signs and pictures of Israeli people being held in Gaza. The crowd included children and elderly people. What really matters is, did Mr. Solomon define Zionism as national origin in his mind? Kraut said to a federal judge last week. The evidence presented in this hearing clearly answers the question, no. He defines Zionism according to political opinions. The grand jury issued indictments on 8 counts of willfully causing bodily injury to victims because of the actual or perceived national origin of the persons. They charged 4 additional counts of violating interstate foreign commerce by using the jars and gasoline in the attack, both produced outside of Colorado, and attempted murder, knowingly carrying an explosive during the commission of a felony, and knowingly using fire and explosives to commit a crime. Solomon also faces more than 100 state charges filed in Boulder County and remains in custody. 8 people were hospitalized in the attack. 2 were severely injured. State officials say there were more than a dozen victims, many of them were people trying to help the initial group get medical assistance. So, Bill, question to you.
Yeah.
Think these hate crimes will stick? You think he'll be found guilty of them?
No, I don't. But I have to recognize that that is probably due to a personal bias. I don't like hate crime laws. I'm not saying that we don't necessarily need them or they don't have a usefulness. I feel we misapply them, and I feel they get in the way a lot of times. I think that the defense...
What you point out is oftentimes a conservative argument that isn't every crime a hate crime. When I got kicked in the back, I'm pretty sure that the perpetrator of that crime hated me. In fact, he said so.
Yeah, he said so, that you were pissing him off on the on the video. So yes, that's the idea, is unless you have something that is, we are going to go after this specific race and we are doing this to them in order to intimidate them, until you can draw that out. I mean, you can talk about the idea of hate crimes, and even though it's not really the best example, but going back to when the KKK and how they behaved during the civil rights era and before, that to me, that type of behavior is what I'm looking for inside of a hate crime. Not in total, but the idea of steps they took to intimidate a specific minority. I don't see that here, and primarily because, one, there's no way to identify the religious or racial affiliation necessarily of the individuals that are there. And by that, I mean Jewish is where I'm going on that one. There's no way to identify whether or not they're just there as supporters. And 2, he's attacking people that are Zionists. And Zionism is neither a race nor a religion. And so I don't know where it falls or how you get to the idea of that being some sort of protected class. And what I worry about in situations like this is that it could possibly create some sympathy for the defendant. Meaning, oh my gosh, what the defense is going to do is, the big bad bully government is coming here to overcharge us. They're trying to be so mean to us. Look at us. We deserve some sympathy and empathy. And that might lead to lesser charges based on the jury because of emotions involved. That's where I'm really concerned about this, that I think if you're going to file hate crime charges, that better be something everybody looks at and goes, oh yeah, they did that because of race and religion. And yeah, I don't see that here. And this is a problem for me.
I do.
Really? Good.
Yeah, surprise,
okay, explain it to me. What am I missing? Yeah.
On this show, there's disagreement.
Yeah,
right.
Please explain it to me.
Dude was
what am I
there
missing?
to burn Jews. Jews at this point are coming from Israel. That's the largest population of Jews. If it has to be rooted in the fact of national origin, I think you could make that argument. I think there's a stronger argument that maybe you wanted to burn them alive because of their religion. And maybe perhaps they could go that way. I don't know federal hate crime law. Seems like if you're trying to kill people for their religion, that would fall under it, but maybe it doesn't. So they have to go to national origin. But I don't buy the idea that it was politically motivated.
Why not?
Because I think he wanted to light as many Jews on fire as he could.
Well, if he was trying to light as many Jews on fire as he could, is that the target you pick? Is that the large gathering of Jews? And that's what I'm looking at as the motivation.
Yeah, it's a fair question, right? I guess he could have gone to
a synagogue. He could go to a shul.
They tend to have good security.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
But again,
it seems to me that his motivation was kill as many Jews as I possibly can. And that seems like it should fall under some element of federal hate crime. I don't buy the excuse from his side that this was somehow politically motivated.
See, and what I see is that from his actions, that this was motivated by anti-Zionism. And that would not, in my definition, and I could be wrong, but the way I see it, would not fall under hate crime. That he's mad about the fact of support of Israel, and he doesn't care. And what I would do, and again, this is not really going to be helpful if you're the defense, but the idea of if this person is a Zionist from America, should they die or should they be punished? If they're a Zionist from England, if they're a Zionist from Germany, and then you start divorcing it from national origin. If they are a Christian that believes in Zionism, this. If they are someone that is a Buddhist and believes in Zionism, is this. And so, or the right to Israel to exist. If you can draw it out that he's not just there and saying it's only the Jews, I think the hate crime becomes more difficult to substantiate. And I think the largest problem that they're going to have is the idea that he went to a protest march, not necessarily a gathering of Jewish individuals. That's going to be a hurdle they're going to have to get over and convince the jury that he thought that it was a march of all Jews, mostly Jews, and that was the soft target, that he felt it was easier than going to, as you said, a synagogue or a shul that would have some security. So that's going to be the hiccup, they're going to have to get to the fact that he thought that those were all Jews, and that's why he was going there. But if they can do it, they can do it.
Love to hear from you. Join the conversation, 303-696-1971. Text us on the Dan Caplis Law text line at 720-819-5115. We're also getting to the first statements coming from the family of the attacker, Mohammed Solomon, man charged with a hate crime. They are asking for help. Please listen. Help us, they say, as their deportation hearings have stalled and they're spending time in an ICE detention facility in Texas. We'll get to that next. All right, let's talk L&L heating and air conditioning. It's getting hotter. It's going to be a hot weekend. If you're dealing with air conditioner issues, give my friends at L&L Heating and Air Conditioning a call. Love them. Mom and pop operated company. Been to their offices. Spent time with them. They really, really care to deliver quality service and products for you. They're on call 24/7, 365 days a year. Same-day service, next-day installs, and no emergency charges. Here's the deals they got going on right now. Free estimates, $0 trip fee, $100 off new water heater installs, $50 off any repair, complimentary second opinions, and a free programmable thermostat or carbon monoxide detector with new furnace or air conditioner installation. You need a full system check? They've got you covered. Schedule your AC or furnace evaluation now and ask about their price match guarantee. You need a second opinion? Well, they'll give you one. Absolutely free. If you're a member of the military, first responder, or seniors, they'll give you a special discount. Locally owned, licensed, insured, no emergency charges, $5 labor warranty, and always honest with upfront pricing. 720-851-1691. Online at bestdenverhvac.com. That's bestdenverhvac.com. 720-851-1691. Call L&L Heating and Air Conditioning today. Exceptional service, competitive prices guaranteed. They care about your comfort. We'll continue with the Jeff and Bill Show.
This is Denver's Talk Leader, News Talk 710 KNUS.
Welcome back to the Jeff and Bill Show. We're talking the effort to bring some hate crime charges, federal hate crime charges against the accused Boulder firebomber. And text messages are on both sides of this. 0512, Muslim guy firebombs Jews and it's not a hate crime. Sure, whatever you say. 1514, I think Bill has a pretty good point. Besides, it's very clear what he did. Why waste time with anything that delays getting him in jail or possibly deported? I think what they're looking for is sentencing enhancements here. So if you find him guilty of a hate crime, all right, it's not just whatever time in prison. Now we're going to 3x it or 4x it. So he's there for a long, long time. I think that's what they're looking for. But it's not just that. Listen to this. This comes from our friends at the Denver Gazette. Please listen. Help us. Boulder attack suspect's wife, detained in Texas, releases her first public statement. The wife of Mohammed Solomon, the man charged with a hate crime after the June 1st firebomb attack on marchers in Boulder, released her first public statement on the situation Wednesday. Hayam El Gamal and her 5 children have been detained since June 3rd in U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement Dilley, Texas Detention Center, and are now fighting their deportation case in the Western District of Texas, according to previous Gazette reporting. My 5 children and I are in total shock over what they say my husband did in Boulder, Colorado earlier this month. I don't believe it. Sorry. I'm going to stop right there. No, total shock. Really? You don't know what's going on in your own house? You know what your husband's doing out in the garage? You think he's just putting cans of gas together for, I don't know, fun? That right there, I'm calling baloney on.
I don't know, because I'm not convinced yet that the family knew anything. I would have to see something. I can't jump to that conclusion. And in part because of the videos that I've seen of the attack, he's bad at it. He did not practice, and this is coming from,
I don't know. Victims may say otherwise.
Oh no, this is what I mean by, and this is he was bad at it because based on what he had, he could have burned a heck of a lot more people. And the one thing that you can see that he absolutely knows nothing about what he is doing is when he takes the jar and lights the fuse, the cloth that's there, and then he throws it while the flame is pointing towards him. That's an example of someone that either doesn't understand physics or has never tried this, because
because he's bad, you don't think his family knew?
The idea, what I'm saying is he didn't practice. So what I'm looking for is what would he have done around the house? Because if you're saying that he is assembling these things and doing this, there would have had to be, he would have been practicing, there would have been steps involved. What I see is that he had a plan, probably assembled pieces of things, put things together, and then filled the gas. And he had never tried this before, because if you have, again, if you have the Molotov cocktail, let's just say it's the old, like in the French movies and things, where you have the wine bottle and you put the cloth in the top and light it. When you throw that, most people believe, okay, you take the larger part of it into the bottle and you throw it that way like it's a football. You can't throw it that way because the liquid will slosh to the back of the bottle towards you and come out towards you. So that's exactly what he did. That's why he got fire up the side of his arm, is because he had the opening of the container pointed back towards him. It takes you about 2 times practicing with that to figure out you've got to toss it so that the flame goes towards where you're throwing it to. That's how they were thrown by the French Revolution. That's what it was done.
How to be a narco-terrorist anarcho-terrorist.
I'm just saying that maybe in some free time, friends of mine and I may have experimented with some things, and we learned things, and there were some burns involved. I'm just saying that's when I knew that he hadn't practiced. Because I'm like, dude, you haven't done this at all, because that's like the second thing you learn.
Bill, I think you may be the masked Antifa down there in the Denver protests, although they seem to run a little faster.
That's the thing is, if you see me waddling away, then yeah. If you see someone at those protests masked up looking like Antifa, but as he's running from the police, police, he looks like a small baby hippo trying to get back into the water, then I'm down there. But that is not me, I promise. That's not me.
1514. What exactly have you been practicing?
I know, I'm telling you. Again, left unsupervised, I had a lot of questions about what happens if. And so, yeah, some were good, some not so good. I'm just saying.
She continues, so many lives were ruined on that day. There is never an excuse for hurting innocent people. We send our love to the many families who are suffering as a result of the attack. During a preliminary hearing Wednesday, a federal judge in Denver decided to move forward with federal hate crime charges against Solomon, who's accused of throwing a Molotov cocktail at a group of peaceful protesters, injuring 15, and a dog in Boulder earlier this month. Full courtroom faced the defendant, who sat emotionless on the edge of the courtroom during his federal preliminary hearings. Michael Dougherty has said on Wednesday he's going to remain laser focused on prosecuting the criminal case and upholding the rule of law. But let's go back to Eli Gamal and her statement. Okay, she said her oldest daughter has just marked her 18th birthday in custody. Oh, so sorry. We are grieving. We are suffering. We are treated like animals by the officers who told us we're being punished for what my husband is accused of doing, Eli Gamal stated. But why punish me? Why punish my 4-year-old children? Why punish any of us who did nothing wrong? Well, they did do something wrong. They're in this country illegally. According to the Gazette's previous reporting, Solomon and his wife and children first came to the U.S. on August 27th, 2022 on B-2 tourist visas. That's like, hey, come tour. Walk around, look at the Statue of Liberty. But those expired the following February on September 29th. So listen, October 27th, 2022. Okay. And they expired the following February. But a few months later, on October 29th, Solomon filed for asylum, listing his wife and 5 children as dependents in Denver. I don't know. I just want to throw this out there, Bill. If you want to claim asylum and live in a country, don't light its citizens on fire.
No, that's fair. And the other part for me is that if you're claiming asylum, I would do it before the tourist visa expires. That if that's the idea, that you're like, hey, we're going to get the tourist visa, then we're going to get here and claim asylum. This is the functioning way that we're going to get into
I think they did.
Did they?
I think they did. So
did they?
The timeline doesn't make a lot of sense to me either.
Because I'm confused about it.
They get here, according to this article, they get here August 27th. They apply for asylum on September 29th, so about a month later. But then the following February, so that would have been February 23, their tourist visa expired. They stay around. Now, they haven't been granted asylum, nor do they report here the basis of them seeking asylum.
Yeah, okay. That helps, because my impression was that it was they get here on the tourist visa in August, and it's the following year that they claimed it. So I can completely be wrong about that one, and that would be easy. Only, a number of things have been wrong about this morning. So that was what my timeline, that would be easy, because I've struggled with this timeline, and I've struggled with the reasoning as far as overstaying the visa. And that is a problem for me, because as we talked about, even prior to the election, that one of the largest single cohorts, in fact, I believe it is, I want to say it's as large, if not larger, than those that claim asylum, are those that overstay visas. The people that overstay visas that are legal immigrants in this country are actually larger than the individuals that sneak over here under the cover of dark. So these are people that were allowed access once and said, nope, sorry, not going home. And because we don't do anything to enforce that.
Yeah, they just hope you'll get lost in the paperwork.
Yeah, and the thing is, we just don't do anything. We have no enforcement mechanism to tell someone after they overstay a tourist visa to go home. We don't go try to find out where they are. We don't round them up. Nothing. And so it's a very easy path in order to stay. So that's why it's used by a lot of people. So I do have a problem with that. And so if they claimed asylum while they were here, okay, then I've got a little more understanding for them. But you're right, that once the father starts lighting citizens on fire, however, I'm not okay with holding the family responsible for what the father did. That's where I have a problem. I can hold them responsible for overstaying a tourist visa. So I'm not saying that they should be here. I think we should adjudicate the asylum claim if it's not found to be not credible. Fine, whatever. That's okay. I think it's okay for the immigration side of it, but I feel like they're being rounded up and intentionally punished for the sins of the father. And I've got a problem with that because I don't think that that's how America should work. I don't think that's how our society should work, that we are going to paint someone guilty because of something another member of their family has done. So that's it.
Well, we got to get to a break here, but I'll say this. You have no right to be in America. There's no human right that you get just to claim to be here. It is upon our good graces, that you are allowed to be in this country. And so if a family member pops up on the radar lighting the citizens of its country on fire and you're here illegally, yeah, you're going home. You are definitely going home. Because I want nobody, even in your little circle of friends, to be sticking around this country anymore, especially if you have no right to be in America. Give us a call. Join the conversation. 303-696-1971. Text us on the Dan Caplis Law text line, 720-819-5115. You're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
This is Denver's Talk Leader, News Talk 710 KNUS.
Welcome back to the Jeff and Bill Show. The wife of the Boulder terrorist that tried to light Jews on fire, did light Jews on fire, saying that her family's tried to do everything right, including learning English and then teaching it to other immigrants. El Gamal, the wife and the kids that are now in ICE detention in Texas, states that her oldest daughter has goals of becoming a doctor, maintained a 4.5 GPA. But now they're going to be deported. Now, Bill, I understand you don't want to punish the kids for the sins of the father, but we're not talking incarceration here. We're not talking prison. They're going through a deportation process right now. But they lived in another country up until 2022. They haven't been given asylum in this country. They can go to another country. This has always been a weird dynamic I find among the left, where they think America is like inherently racist and then can't fathom the idea that somebody may want to live or be deported to another country.
Yeah, now see the deportation argument, because they overstayed visitor visas and stuff, tourist visas, that I can see, that I can get to. But the problem I've got is that because of what Dad did, we're now rounding them up and we're going to deport them. We're going to spend all this time and effort. And for me, I go back to that primary argument: is his family, not him, but his family, part of that immigrant crime wave that Donald Trump told us was threatening the vibrancy of America? I don't see it with these people. We can deport them because they overstayed the visa, but it's not part of the immigrant crime wave. Dad, yes. Family, no.
I don't see that distinction. You're a guest in this country. One of your family members burning Jews, and you are overstaying your visas. You got to go. We'll continue the debate. You're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
This is 710 KNUS.